Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We're also streaming you live at yorbamedia.com and broadcasting to you from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios. All right, I've got Jon Zimmerman, CEO Front Desk, on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, if your business is one of the millions in personal service industry, you need to visit frontdesk.com and see how they can help your business be more effective and more profitable. These guys can do it all for you. All right, Jon, welcome to the show. Thank you for showing up.
Thanks.
My pleasure. Jon, tell us a little bit about you first, the man behind the scenes, where the buck stops, and then walk us through an overview of kind of what Front Desk does for everybody.
Sure. I have a background in technology. I was an early employee at Expedia.com with a number of my co-founders. About 8 years ago, I invested in a small, at the time, CrossFit gym up here in Seattle, and quickly came to discover the needs that we had to help us run the business. In terms of how to grow and how to manage it. And from that, came to discover that there was really no good technology in the market to do that. So together with a few of my former colleagues from Expedia, we set out to build FrontDeskHQ.com and discovered that there was a huge need in the market for it.
Good. Yes, obviously, if you're a part of Expedia and getting that thing off the ground, this looks to have all the earmarks of another success in your on your resume. Okay, let's talk about what Front Desk does, a personal services industry. I know that it's one of the fastest growing industries, but talk to me about your place in that part of the market sector.
Sure. I think first it probably helps understand what that personal services industry is.
Exactly.
So when we step back to look at this and, thinking about it first in the context of this single gym in Seattle, we discovered that there's a sort of a huge and very fast-growing segment of the economy, which we've coined as the personal services economy. It's comprised of individuals who are basically selling their time and their skill. So, to most of us, you could think about that as a fitness or yoga instructor, a music teacher, an acupuncturist, a massage therapist.
Radio show.
And, many of these people went into business because they were passionate about their trade, about performing acupuncture or about yoga, and were really struggling to figure out how to turn these into businesses. And what we set out to do with Front Desk is try to enable that part of the economy. From our estimate, we think there's about 3 million of these businesses in the U.S., ranging from sole proprietors to kind of franchises to enterprises with many locations. And we think that they account for about $350 billion of revenue, sort of transactions occurring in the economy every year. What we try to do for these businesses is help them in a couple of ways. One is helping them reduce the frictions that they have interacting with clients. So doing things like making it easy for their clients to interact with them from a mobile device, making it easy for their clients to be able to book appointments with them. Then on the back end, we try to help them with a lot of the administrative tasks that typically take a lot of their time and take their time away from spending time with their clients. Things like payroll tracking if they have staff. Things like sort of managing the schedule for classes and workshops and appointments. Things like collecting payments from their clients. And what we try to do is enable them to sort of become more efficient at everything that sits between their website with their clients and their back-end accounting system.
Wow. Okay. Let's drill down into that a little bit because you covered a lot of topics. You said this is what we do, this is what we do. But give me a couple of, for instances, here's how we do it.
Sure. I think a great example, one of our favorite clients is a mountain guiding service in upstate New York. There's a guy named Marty Mullet-Torres who runs a company called Alpine Endeavors. They provide rock and ice climbing guiding services in the Shawangunk Mountains in New York. Marty has about 20 part-time staff members and hundreds of clients. And for Marty, what we do is we make it very easy if a client wants to book a half day of guiding with Marty. We make it very easy for the client to sign up, to complete their paperwork, to DocuSign a waiver, to put a deposit down, and then on the back end, we make it very easy for Marty to assign this to one of his part-time guides, to enable the guide to collect the remainder of the payment with a check or cash or a credit card when they complete the service. And we then make it very easy for Marty to track the payroll to make sure that the guide gets paid for what they've done. So in that case, that's sort of an example of when you think through the flow of what happens in a simple business like a guiding service to make everything happen from the client having a good experience to the business actually getting paid. We address all of that.
That isn't, first off, that type of business is not one of your easier challenges to market, number one. But I can see that what you're doing is you're taking not only the office manager, the logistics manager, and the billing and the accounting, and then rolling it all up into one outsourced to you service. You must have some numbers on the reduction of cost because that's expensive. All those other people with those specific talents to be able to, because somebody who can do logistics well is not cheap. You must really help their bottom line with this.
Yeah, we help the bottom line in a couple of ways. I mean, one is, as you mentioned, that there's typically a cost savings that they incur from the sort of the administrative overhead that we're helping to alleviate. The second, which we've been able to track much better, is that many of these businesses often see a revenue increase when they move on to front desk, either because they're leaking revenue that they didn't realize they were leaking. Clients were coming in and they were providing services to clients and not being careful about collecting payments, or they were kind of dropping the ball on keeping track of the clients they had to make sure that they were retaining them. Many of the businesses that move on to front desk are typically reporting anywhere between a 2 and 15% increase in revenue when they move across and get up and running. And the great thing for these businesses is that's typically monthly recurring revenue that they're seeing the lift in. So it's not a one-time 2 or 15% lift in revenue. It's revenue that's increasing monthly from there out, like an annuity.
Wow, that's okay. Let's move forward because you do more than that. Because I'm on the front page of your website. I see web design, graphic design, hosting, SEO.
I think you're actually at frontdesk.com. Our URL is frontdeskhq.com.
Okay.
And if you hop over to frontdeskhq.com, you'll see that we do things like scheduling and billing and digital documents.
All right, I'll get over there right now. Okay. All right, there we go. Now tell me, you've got cloud-based services in this industry. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so cloud-based services, sort of a acronym that people typically use is SaaS, which stands for Software as a Service. And this has been a big trend in technology over the past 5 to 10 years. A lot of it driven by Amazon providing cloud computing to businesses like Front Desk. And what we're able to do is take the types of technology that businesses like this would typically deploy on a desktop computer in their office that they might buy shrink-wrap software to do, and we're able to put all of it up in the quote-unquote cloud where they can access it from a browser on their computer or from a mobile app we provide them, and they can get access to the software anywhere, anytime.
Okay, I see a lot of mobile devices. Talk to me about that. Do you have let me just shut up and you go ahead and tell me about it.
Sure. One of the things that we found when we started Front Desk is that mobile access is very important to these businesses, to their clients, to their staff members, and to the business owners themselves. For the clients, we've discovered that clients with these types of businesses really like to be able to interact with the business on the go. You want to book a yoga session or a guitar lesson. You want to be able to do it, again, anywhere, anytime, so that you're not desktop bound when you want to interact with the business. For a staff member, even if you have a fixed physical location, having access to your entire business from a tablet or from a phone, no matter where you are in the building, is really handy. To have access to notes about clients, to be able to book the next appointment, to be able to take a payment, and for the business owner, having the ability to sort of see what's going on in the business, even when they aren't there, is really helpful. We're working with a music school here in Seattle, and the general manager likes to tell us that the first thing he does when he rolls out of bed in the morning is grab his phone and see what's going on at the business. We've found that to date about 60% of the traffic to front desk is coming from mobile devices, which has helped to affirm our hypothesis that being predominantly mobile is really important and a big value that front desk is providing.
I can see that. That would definitely work in my case with the various guests that I put on the show. All right, let's take a break now, but it's frontdeskhq.com for your website. And do you have any, I'm here on the homepage. You have a demo for our listening audience that they could try up and set up for free. Is that right?
That's right. They can do that. And if you think this would help you with your radio appointments, you should sign up for a demo as well.
I definitely am. I'm going to sign up for a demo. Okay, let's take a break. And on the other side of this, John will cover more content, okay?
Great. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Jon Zimmerman, CEO, frontdeskhq.com, and special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800 Public Relations for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We're also streaming to you live at yorbamedia.com and broadcasting to you from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios. My guest this segment, Jon Zimmerman, CEO, frontdeskhq.com. All right, John, welcome back to the show, back to the segment.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I'm on the front page of your website, and I was hoping that we could talk about some of the ways that front desk staff, new client kiosk, and client sign-in kiosk are applied to some of the businesses that work with you. And by the way, congratulations, you've got some very nice clients. I mean, CrossFit Dallas Central is big and bold. That's pretty nice company here in our town. So kudos.
Well, thanks. I think CrossFit Dallas Central is actually a great example of how many of those apps are being used at businesses. One of the things we found when we started to work with CrossFit Dallas Central was that they were leaking a lot of revenue. As I mentioned before the break, that a lot of these businesses find that there's a loose change in the couch cushions once they start to go in and really try to run the business. What we did with some of those apps at CrossFit Dallas Central is do things like put a kiosk in at the front desk so that when new clients go in, they can very quickly enter their information, sign a waiver, and get signed up with the business. That makes it very easy for the staff at CrossFit Dallas Central to be able to follow up with clients afterwards and make sure that people aren't coming in once and then not coming back. Similarly, we found that one of the real key value adds of frontdeskhq.com to these businesses is being able to track attendance well. When you're providing services like this and making sure that you're keeping track of who's showing up for classes, who's taking appointments, ends up being really important for a couple of reasons. One is it gives you great data to sort of understand how the business is doing and to be able to go back and sort of make sure that you're retaining these clients. And two, it's fundamental to the economics of the business. So if you think about sort of a virtuous cycle of attendance being the way that you ensure that clients are paying you for your service and ensures that you're paying your staff correctly, by sort of making sure that you're able to collect that data and that information, it lets you run the business much more efficiently. And in the case of somebody like CrossFit Dallas Central, what we found is that the sheer act of doing things like taking attendance can add a lot of friction and drag on the business. You know, the guys at CFDC want to be focused on helping their clients work out, not standing around taking attendance. And by putting in apps like the front desk kiosk and sort of giving an app to staff to be able to quickly take attendance, we're able to help them collect that data without adding a lot of friction and drag onto what's going on at the business.
Yep, I could see how that would definitely help in the bottom line because you've taken a couple of spots out there. Your fees are scalable, so it's not just for 20-plus employee companies or higher. It seems that therefore the upstart, the beginning entrepreneur, and then scale it all the way to say a Fortune 100 could use you. That's
right. We've made a big emphasis to come up with a pricing model that works for everyone, ranging from someone just starting a business to some of the larger franchises like Fit for Mom or enterprises like D1 Sports that we're working with. And what we do is the front desk service fee is based on the amount of revenue that the business is processing every month. We take 1% of the first $10,000 that a business manages every month, and then $2 per thousand after that. And we find that gives us an affordable price point to work with new businesses starting up, and then scales appropriately as businesses get up into, some of our larger businesses are doing well in excess of $100,000 a month in revenue.
Tell me, what sector do you see as we go forward needing? I mean, all sectors, everybody needs. If you schedule anything or you have any kind of customers, they all need you. But what sector do you see really in going through 2014 that is going to open up for your company?
Yeah, there are a few. We're seeing that sort of given our our experience in fitness, sort of a couple of us, like myself, have either owned or operated gyms that we think fitness is an enormous vertical for us that's largely underserved. There's a sort of either old antiquated technology or a lot of people still working off of paper and pencil. So strength and conditioning gyms, yoga studios, Pilates studios, anything related to fitness. We're starting to see that with front desk, we've made a big emphasis on making the service work really well for businesses that interact a lot with kids. Things like swimming schools, music lessons, dance, martial arts, where making the experience work well for the parents who are interacting with the business on behalf of their kids is important. So we see those as two areas that are very fruitful areas for growth for us in 2014.
Do you make me think of the school systems, because I see lots of applications with that, and their ability to track all of the things that go on within their school. Some people think that they're keeping pace with technology, but I bet they're not using things, the types of tools that you bring to the table.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. We are seeing a lot of interest from schools like art schools and music schools and dance schools. We're seeing a lot of interest from 501c nonprofits right now that are offering classes. I don't think of the 1,000 or so businesses that we have on front desk right now that we've seen a traditional public school, but I think that's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, I think inner city schools would probably need your help the most. I mean, the rest of them, because they have the least amount of resources and to go into this direction.
Yeah, I think that's. I think if they're offering classes and it's important to keep track of who's in the building, front desk is potentially a great solution for them.
Yeah, that might be a whole new revenue stream for you, because that is just something that you're going to show efficiency of time, reduction of staff, reduction of overhead, and if there are some, the for-profit schools will probably be very early adapters of your technology, I would think.
Yeah, I think what you're hitting on that I think is a very important point is anybody who's offering classes or courses or workshops or appointments, front desk is a great solution for. We've been really fascinated as we've taken on businesses, sort of like the fitness businesses and dance schools and music schools we've been talking about, how we've started to get out into what we call the long tail of personal services businesses, where we're seeing all sorts of businesses that we never would have thought of show up and find value in the software, ranging from dog training schools to businesses without physical locations. We have somebody who I think is down in Dallas who drives around with a RV and does body fat testing for people. So we view the number of sort of verticals or micro verticals we can get into as almost endless.
Yeah, it makes me think of the medical community, because believe me, the medical industry, when it comes to the keeping track of their clients, I've been in and out of a few of them over the last year, and it seems to me they could definitely use a little pep up in the technology when it comes to the front desk.
Yeah, we're finding that we're making some inroads into what we've been calling lightweight medical, which are medical-related businesses that don't have high insurance requirements, so that there's not a lot of integration with existing systems, which to us are things like acupuncture, massage therapy, nutritionists. So yeah, we think that over time that as we all know that the sort of the whole medical industry in the U.S. is ripe for change.
Yeah, I just see so many things. We could go on forever, but we're out of time. Before we go, please contact information so our audience can get a demo for you.
Yeah, we think that we would love for the audience to come to frontdeskhq.com and schedule a demo, and we would we really enjoy showing business owners how they can get value out of the software. So we would encourage people to visit frontdeskhq.com and set up a demo.
Definite. Jon, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot, Michael. I appreciate the time.
Mine too. All right. Jon Zimmerman, CEO, FrontDeskHQ.com. And special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800 Public Relations for all their PR and media support. Stick around. We've got a whole nother hour coming up. Chris Clare, Reuters, Hedgeworld, Kennedy, Paul Carey, Todd Johnson, and David Shaheen. We're going to go from one end to the other. We'll be right back.